Hi everyone, welcome to this new stream, and it's rather spontaneous happening tonight. I just realized, sorry, somebody on a forum said, and he's totally right, that I currently, just in case if you didn't know, that I'm currently having a little sale because of all that coronavirus situation. So I'm offering all my libraries, all my sample libraries. Let me just switch over so you can see the store website for a second here. And I know this is kind of some shameless self-promotion, but I thought, in this time, in this difficult time, which is concerning all of us, it would be a cool idea to just have, like a sale going on. And I just had this up for 24 hours. I hope you can hear me all right. Yes, microphone should work. So someone say, hey everyone. So I assume everything is working all right because I actually don't really have a clue if I'm also broadcasting on YouTube, because there's currently some problem with the API. So I just have to maybe check that again. I also did a manual setup, but it somehow doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they will fix it soon, so I can, because in the future I will just try to broadcast on Twitch, but also on YouTube, because it's just a great opportunity to have it on both. Because a lot of people just ask me, hey, I don't want to sign up onto Twitch, or Twitch people saying, I'm not really interested in signing up on YouTube or whatever. So I can do it for both platforms. So what was I about to say? Okay, so in this difficult time, I thought it would be just inspiring, to have a little 24-hour sale by offering all my libraries for just €1. And I already decided, because we're running out of time right now. The 24 hours are basically over, but I thought I will just, extend it to another 24 hours to just, making me realize that just one day is really quick. So maybe somebody didn't get it, and I just want to, make some people happy. And also, I didn't expect with that great response from everyone. And I will definitely have, some idea in my head where I'm again trying to give something back. But first of all, why I'm doing this live stream is actually that I have all these libraries here. And some of the libraries, like, for example, the very first one I have ever released, there are demos here, but there is no video. And it was on my list forever that I wanted to do demos for, videos for all these libraries. But there was always something coming in between, and I know it's so very important to have videos. So I decided I did do a little live stream and featuring most or as many libraries as I can in this stream, and then later on cut out, like 10 minute. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so I'm just talking some dumb shit. So editing out like 10-minute snippets later on, which I will upload to the product page of my store, so people get a better impression what I'm offering here. So hi Brandon, hi Michael, glad to see you here. Do I have Audio Imperial Jaeger? Yes, I got it. It's a great library. We will probably talk about that in another stream. I mean, not because of promotion-wise, but I just taking a sip of tea here. But just to, take some, full attention to that library, and not just do it in between like these, like these, let's say, videos where I'm just trying to explain some of my libraries. So the first one, I would love to start with the Eridanos transmissions. And this is actually the very first library I have ever created. So let me just show you a little bit here that what I have here on instruments. So you can see that there are all these folders here. So you have low frequency data, you have high frequency data, you have beta Eridani voice signals, exoplanet archives, magnetar radio emissions and all these things. So basically, in general, to just quickly say what's going on, this library is dedicated or focusing towards drones. So just in case you don't know, almost every of my libraries is dedicated to just one topic. That's why they actually so affordable. I'm not, trying to come up with like a mix of 100,000 ideas, putting it into one, or having like a huge collection of instruments, but just focusing on something very specific. And this is what I do right now here with drones. So just talking or dealing with drones in general. So I was just distracted because I just wanted to check. I already got no, everything's all right, because I got a little dropped frame again here, and I made sure that everything works all right, but I could imagine that the internet connection in general is heavily used during the, during our quarantine situation here. Because we have total lockdown in Hamburg. Of course, you can buy something to eat, but in general, nothing is happening. It's like Walking Dead, except The Walking Dead, so it's just empty out there. So, okay, so the first library I want to get into is the Eridanus transmissions. So let me just open the low frequency data and let me play you some of these patches here. So you can see 25 of these patches available. So let me just load the first one. And this is the simple interface. We just have basically an attack and a release button here. I always, when there is not a lot of options going on the GUI, I just like to keep it a little bit mysterious, because there is not a lot to understand. It's just like, 3 buttons. So it's not like a complex interface where it makes a lot of sense to have a manual. Just let me play some sounds. So as I said before, Eridanus transmissions is all about drones. In a world, there was a guy with a cup of tea. So as you can hear, this is not like let's say, a steady drone with just one sound, but there is stuff happening all the time. And this was my goal in creating sounds which change a little bit, like evolving stuff, and not like a drone which is just sitting here and basically just having a plain sound repeating, or being able to play it endlessly. So if you move the mod wheel, this is basically connected to a cutoff filter right here. And as I said here, you have an attack and release button. So you can set it to super short, or just, So just to show you. Okay, so simple stuff, but this is basically all what you need. Of course, I could have done crazy, like hiring a super professional GUI guy, and but it was actually also my first library, so I didn't want to go, like full throttle, because I wasn't really aware how this whole thing will be going to be received. And also, I just like it to have it simple, a little bit cryptic, and just since it's just focusing about drones, as with this library, it was just funny to just have a simple and plain GUI where you don't have to study quantum physics to understand what's going on. I'm not saying that all of these beautiful and fascinating libraries are are hard to understand, but I'm just saying that I just wanted to have something. Hey, I want drones. Boom, there are drones. This is Eridanos transmissions, so you can load the drones and you just play because you know exactly what's going on here. And so let me just play you a few more sounds from these low frequency data folder here. So it was actually a lot of fun to create these things because I'm using, I just, it's not turned on, but I was using my good old Matrix Brute here. And also, if you can see it over here, the P12, the Prophet 12, some external hardware, a lot of Big Sky, which I consider to be, really one of the best reverbs out there because there is something going on in this thing which makes it really special. I can't, I compared it to, for example, Valhalla Shimmer, which is trying to be something like the Big Sky. Valhalla Shimmer is a great reverb plugin. So it's not like saying this is better or this is worse. It just sounds different. But I was never able to achieve that specific sound I was able to get with a Big Sky. So play some other sounds here. So there's always something subtle sneaking in, moving away, coming in again, but trying to keep it kind of steady so that you're not getting like, whoa, whatever, getting into a drone which doesn't make sense to use because there is so much stuff sneaking out or kind of disturbing the general track, so just in case if you have other instruments going on. So this is basically the low frequency data. It's a lot of low drones, 25, so to say, and you can see that it's always mapped from the low A to the high A here. And so let's check out the high frequency data, and you could have guessed it's higher drones. Okay, let's load some more. And the thing is why it's basically always one drone I mapped to several keys. And this is necessary because you can't re-record everything what's happening during something. So if I would have mapped each of these notes to, or re-recorded each note interval, so each, let's say C, every C sharp, every D, every F, whatever, every note, all of these things would have sounded different. So just in case if you wanted to use that A, but you wanted to transpose it to C or E, and you like what's going on here, you wouldn't get this because I would have to, because I recorded actually a lot while I was, or editing a lot while I was recording. I was sitting there playing the drones and just fooling around on the, on the reverbs or the polymoon, which I also used. I played 8-string guitars with a little I forgot the word. With the little, well, how do you call it? That little magnetic thing you just put on the string and it starts vibrating. This is too embarrassing. So I'm playing guitar since I'm 14 years old. So basically for 100 years now, something, and I forgot this little. Anyway, I will probably, it will come to my mind in a bit. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you, an Ebo. This is really embarrassing, but okay, so you've guessed it, the high drones here. And to just mention that once again, this is one of my most used effects I'm using to create, tension, to create change in a signal. It's actually a cutoff filter, because you can make stuff really sound organic when you just sneak in specific patterns. I just played with a mod wheel to have it a little bit manually and not just, automated. Let's say, like sine curves or anything. So to just have instant control over the signal. So let's head over to another folder. Let's check out the beta Eridani voice signals. So you can see another 10 of these patches here. So basically the same as before, drones, but a little bit more vocal focused. Let's check out another one here. First Kontakt. And another one here. Yeah, right, Michael. Yes. Hey, EQ 80 hertz. Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I think a cutoff filter is one of the most useful things, especially when it comes to dynamics. Let's check out, or to create space, of course. When you have too many instruments going on in the high range, you create also, basically with every frequency, no matter if it's low, mid, or high, you create some ear fatigue. So you definitely want to make sure to be able to sneak a lot into it, but sometimes it can be a little bit too much when you have, too many instruments of the same range going on, and that's why when you can create space by simply using a cutoff filter. So we have Exoplanet Archives here. Let's listen to this. I actually don't remember what this is, but let's load the next one. So in general, what I did with this library is that I recorded around about 100 drones. And then again, I did some more sound design with the source material. And what's also the thing probably important to know, I'm saying that before, but it probably doesn't matter that much right now when the library is €1 only, that a lot of people asked, did you provide the source material? And the thing is, no, I didn't. I see it as a sound design library, some kind of a, let's call it, like a Alex Pfeffer signature sound design library, if you want it, even though it sounds a little bit cheesy. But the thing is, I could have done this, but then you wouldn't get it in such a mysterious way, and you would have to rely on internal Kontakt effects. And this is what I just didn't want to do. And then, of course, you wouldn't be able to create this flowing stuff. Or I could have done it, and then it would have involved some complex coding, and then I probably wouldn't be able to make it available for like €29 as I initially did. I would have actually checked my price list. I'm happy that I did a screenshot before I set all the prices to €1. So let me just play another one here. It's funny, I was actually just listening because I got a little bit not really scared, but sometimes you hear noises you can't really detect where they are coming from. And I thought, my neighbor above is going kind of on a rampage. I don't know, just, moving furniture or whatever, what she usually does 10 times a week. But that's another story. So I wasn't really sure where the sounds were coming from. Oh, thank you so much, EQ 80 Hertz. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate that, and I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration and maybe just something to play around when we all have to do this quarantining stuff. So you get the idea of these patches. That was Exoplanet Archives. Let's head into the magnetar radio emissions. So there are 5 of these patches here. To be honest, these are my favorite patches of the entire library, because all of these sounds were created, or I just stumbled upon this by accident. I was just trying to change a parameter of something. I actually don't really remember what I did. I should have done, like a little quick video of what I did right now. But I remember it was just turning one effect. I wanted to change a setting, and then there was an internal feedback happening of swapping kind of the signal around and turning it back. And I love it. I really don't remember what I did. I think it has to do. I'm always up to sharing secrets. But I think what I did was that I used the polymoon on this, which is very awesome effect. It's like a little box, a delay box basically. But there is so much stuff going on with a phaser also, and you have specific algorithms, and you can change the settings, not just like the typical stuff. I would love to show it. Maybe, well, what the heck? Just let's feature another effect like here. But I just wanted to quickly show a little picture of how this thing looks like. So this is the polymoon. It's basically a little delay effect. And yes, I mean, you can not just change, like all these parameters, but also hit like the Alt button, and then you can change the time. You can change this multiply button. And then if you hit the tab button, you can just mess it all up and bring it back to some other default state. And it's absolutely awesome. I really can recommend it. If you look for something where you can really come up with some weird stuff, this is definitely a box I can recommend. So there's all this sucking stuff going on and, releasing it again. So it sounded to me like some magnetar radio emissions. I probably never heard or will never experience magnetar radio emissions, because if I would but just be, like a few million light years close to this would probably just rip me apart, as far as I understood the physics of this. But anyway, let's head over to the supernova remnants and let's check some of these. Hey, Mike. Hope you're doing well. So just try to focus a little bit more on distorted sounds. Mostly. Yeah, sausage fattener, OTT. We just put it all through OTT, or OT. I don't know how you guys call it. It's really embarrassing because I never got into or never was aware of what OTT is since like a few weeks ago. And then I just said, okay, I just said, let's try this. And I was really amazed how very cool this thing is. So if you sneak it in by also using invisible limiter and inflator and, you know, all this other stuff's out there, then you can come up with some really cool stuff. So the next thing would be extracted low frequency data. So you can see some, you know, familiarity to the first folder. So what I basically did is created, and as far as I remember, gated material. So basically like gated loops out of the drone material. So let's load a few of these. And these are of course tempo synced, so you can just, you know, change the tempo of your sequencer, or in the other way around, whatever your tempo your sequencer of whatever your tempo of your digital audio workstation is. Sorry, I'm still, you know, Cubase to me is still a sequencer because you just arrange notes inside this thing. So I don't know when it happened that it changed to digital audio workstation or DAW. So to me, all of these things, everything you can put notes into is always a sequencer. So okay, so I'm playing a bit more of these loops here. This is always the stuff, I had this idea to do this because this is always the stuff I miss when I do, you know, when I use basic bass sounds from typical synth, great synth like the Zebra or, you know, Repro 1, Repro 5, or whatever, Hive, so basically all of the Yuhi synth. And having orchestra and stuff going on, but there was always something missing, and so this is where this stuff comes in pretty handy. Okay, so I think you get the idea of this folder here. Let's head over to the extracted high frequency data, which is basically the same like the low, as I said before, and we have some. Okay, so these are also loops. And another one here. Okay, you get the idea. So I think I remember, let's load the harmonic photons here. Right, so this is what I also did, is that I processed flageolet tones from the guitar. And so I did like 4 modes of this. D minor. So let's check out the third one. So it's a little bit more pad-like. So I decided to, do some sound designish stuff. And okay, so there are a few more folders in here. There are harmonic neutrons, and they sound like this. So probably I sampled I think I sampled my tank drum. So over here on the shelf, I should put another camera and just have the whole room and the whole, that whole other stuff which is behind there. Should have it on camera too. But this is basically my little tank drum, and I think I'm not really sure if I use the beaters and my thumbs. So we have harmonic bosons. Another one. I'm just trying to remember what I did here, but I can't. I think it was my cello and something else. It's always something else. So harmonic gravitons. No, that was my cello. Okay, yeah, let's check out the other one here. And then we have one last folder, which is super void echoes. Oh yes. These are basically super void echoes. Yep. So this is basically the Eridanos transmissions. So if you already got it, it's €1 currently, just in case if you missed this. Because for the people who are new in this channel, so just let me know if someone is new here. I see like 10 people online, so just drop a quick hi in the chat. And also let me know if these things are working right now, these little, the channel points. I'm not really sure. I just recently got the message that these channel points are working. So I'm not really sure. Just let me know. What do we check out next? Maybe you guys can let me know what library we take a look at. Infinitar actually already has a it has a video. So I just wanted to focus on the libraries which don't have a video. Let's check out the quantum fluctuations. No, this doesn't have a video right now. So I will probably head over to quantum fluctuations. And the funny thing is, this was actually my second library I was doing. And I really love it because it's just it's just what I mentioned before when I writing music and there is something moving which I'm missing. And this is what I basically try to do with quantum fluctuations. So let me just, so you asked this question right now. So let me just head over to my store website and just post it in here. I think I didn't, oh, I see like an X on YouTube. So I'm probably not broadcasting right now to YouTube. I hope this will be fixed in like a few days. But anyway, so it stays exclusive to Twitch. Okay, so let's check out quantum fluctuations, the same. So basically all of my libraries, which are 20 libraries currently, are available for €1. And let's head into quantum fluctuations. And to tell you a little bit what is going on here, there is also some cryptic stuff again happening here. But what I basically did here is I sampled my DFEM, the Moog DFEM, and just processed the hell out of these samples. And these are all loops. These are not designed loops out of snippets I was creating or I was recording with the DFEM. It was actually designed loops on the DFEM. And since this thing is digital and you really can't control it, I actually had to use my matrix brute as the DFEM is in a little shelf down there. So I actually should get like a mobile cam going to show you around a little bit. But what I basically did, I was using the matrix brute as a time source for, like a €2,000 time signal for the DFEM, but it was totally worth it. So once I was able to figure out how this works, I came up with some really cool loops and to just make it a little bit more, more exciting. These loops are not actually percussive, and they are also don't sound like synth only, but it's like a mixture, and they sound like this. So these are mostly 1-bar loops. And let me just change the tempo a little bit. Let's make it more like 85. I recorded them, I think, at like 80, so they sound best in this kind of. Thank you, Borble, for gehen direkt mal shoppen. I should do that more, just talking Denglish to just mix it up both to confuse you even more. So I really like these loops, or I like the DFEM in general, because it's just, it never sounds like a typical percussive instrument, but it also doesn't sound like a synth, but it sounds like something completely in between. And I'm really surprised that I never heard or never experienced or never seen, however you want to call it, a library of the DFEM recorded. I think I saw a few sound packs out there, but So I remember a very long time ago, I'm not really sure if it was Giro G. There was a library. I'm not really sure. I don't want to spread misinformation, but there was a library which was called Groove Shadows, and I was really in my starting phase, and it was like I don't know. It wasn't really expensive, like 59 or 99 or 129 euros, but I couldn't afford it, and I was like, shit, I need this library. It sounds so awesome because the concept of these groove shadows was to have something behind, like drum grooves when you have like a, like a drum set, recorded drum set, a loop or something, and you just want to spice it up with something. And I actually don't even remember how all these groove shadows sounded like, but when I just fired up the DFAM and started working with it, it had this flair of giving me something which I could like to just, spice up. Not really boring, but spicing up a drum loop to make it a little bit more. To make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so basically what I did here is that I sampled 100 of these loops. So let's load the other set. And just to get you a little bit more into these functions, what you can do, so as always, you move the mod wheel. And you are applying that cutoff filter again. I don't even remember what I did. I think this was just a little bit of compression. If you want to have, if you just want to mangle it a little bit more, and below here you have a little bit of distortion. But I mean, as I said before many times, I like the internal Kontakt effects, but they are always the same Kontakt effects. It's a little bit like a WordPress website, and I don't mean this in a bad way because there are some awesome WordPress websites out there, and I used it too. So far, I'm still using it for my blog actually. But what I wanted to say is, then if you use WordPress, they all look like there is this WordPress a content management system going on. You always have that little, oh, this is a WordPress website, because there's like this header, there's like a few elements, you have this sidebar when it comes to the blog and all these things. And to me, a little bit like WordPress is actually Kontakt and its internal effects. So if you have 100 libraries being released on Kontakt, there is always something which gives all of these libraries specifically some of this sound when you use or make use of the internal, let's say, the distortion effects, or the limiters or something, or the compressors. I'm totally aware that you can, especially for reverb and distortion stuff, you can also add your own impulse responses, but if you don't do that, they more or less not really sound the same, but Barbel, I don't really remember. I would have to check, but I know that the general package, all in all, I think it was something like 350 to 400 euros. So basically, all of these libraries range in between 9 to 49 euros. So as I said before, I'm trying to keep it minimal, to just focusing on one thing. There is nothing like hits or pads or whatever going on in this library. This is just focusing entirely on giving you these, let's say, quantum fluctuations, like these loops in between synth and drums, because I like that approach of quantum physics, that you can, when you take a picture, you can just see a particle in 2 spots, but when you do a video, you never see a particle moving around. You just see a blurry something. So I just like this because you don't realize that it's actually a drum loop, but you don't actually think it's just like a pure synth. But I think for this library, it was 19 euros. Okay, so, and then you got also quantum disruptions, which is the basic material, sorry, of these 100 loops, but I just mangled the shit out of it. So I just tried to come up with anything, gates, you know, filters, whatever, and came up with something like this. Space cows. Hey, Supernap. Thanks to hear that. Glad you did. Hope you like them. Hope they inspire you during this self-quarantining time. Okay, so you get the idea. Basically, there's another bank here with another 50. With another 51 2-bar, 1-bar loops. Oh, this is... I was just looking for my favorite patch of this library. This is it. I'm just trying... You can, of course, layer these. So I'm usually, since I'm a great fan of layering, I should have come, you know, to this earlier, that you can just... So I mean, basically by doing this, you have 200 loops all in all. So you can create, in general, just, you know, like unlimited sound colors. Just grabbing some keys here. Okay, so that's this library. Let's check out another one. Let me know what you want to take a look at. So let's head over to my store page. As you can see, each of these libraries is €1. Still for another 24 hours. So I think I would love to check out Soul, which is a very interesting library, to be honest. At least I think so. So let's check out Soul. And I just have this little concept for all of, not just, like one, if it's, how can I explain this? I'm thinking faster. I was speaking faster than I'm thinking. So if it's not just about one sound category, I also like to have something which follows like a concept. So the concept of Soul was to create something which resolves around one key in general. So let me just explain this the best when we check out the core, and everything here resolves around the key of G and the key of C. And let me just load G here. And if this accidentally reminds you of some sci-fi movie, I'm not really sure. But so when you move the mod wheel, you can see the sun moving. I really like it. So the concept of this is that everything on this library or on these patches resolves around the key of G. So you have, and my purpose is, I was of course inspired by the movie Sunshine, and also inspired by a band. I just forgot the name. It's always happening. Sigur Rós, which is a band I really, really like because they create that atmospheric stuff. And it always kind of, I don't know, I feel something like a connection between their music and also Sunshine. And there is kind of a dramatical, melancholic thing going on in this movie. Besides all the horror and shocking elements, there is something going on which is kind of sad, but it's also beautiful. And I just wanted to connect this a little bit with this concept of that everything revolves about around one key, and the symbol for this was the sun, soul. So that's why this is coming from. So I recorded a bass here, and so currently this is all eighth notes, bass notes. So, and the same happens for the C stuff here. So let me just come up and show you the revolving core. What did I thought about? The chords. Oh, chords. Yes, of course. The chords, because I was also recording guitar. So I just named it like chords because it, the core of the library, the core of the sun. So this is like super dirty. And obviously the root of this is a G, and if I play from there, it all makes a little bit more sense. So each of these chords is having the root note of a G somewhere in the chord. So you probably know this if you're a guitar player and you play a G chord, and then you move down one half step, which is basically the seventh position of the mode of the Ionian scale, and you can create all this cool stuff with having the G flat, or basically the F sharp. So it's a G chord with an F sharp, so you get this Locrian stuff going on. Okay, so let's check out the clean guitars of G and start maybe creating a little bit of, because there's not a lot to create to explain here. So these guitars are basically all played with always this approach of having the root note available. So we have a chronosphere in G, and these are basically okay, so these are basically pedal chords. We have also prominence in G. So you basically have additional arpeggiated notes you can use for this. Then we have flares and good evening, Adam. So these are basically, like strummed, octaved, like notes with distorted guitar. And there is also chromatic core. I recorded this. So this is, the best would be to just show you. I'm not really sure if you can hear that all right, but the best would be, I don't want to change the session and load something else. So I just think, can you hear the song? Just let me know if you can hear the song all right. I hope you can hear that right now. Okay, cool. So I wish I would have a fade out button here. So let me just turn it off, because I always hate when somebody just turns off music. When I was studying music in Los Angeles, during the guitar lessons, we listened to a lot of music per day in all these, classes. And then the teacher was just, okay, you know what I'm trying to say. And he just turned off the music. And I was like, fuck, if you do that one more time. He started at the end of our studying year. He started fading out the music because I was always like getting mad. Yeah. Okay. So much for my tics. You get the idea of this. I'm not just want to get into, demonstrating how you can create a song with this, but basically you have the G here. So some of this stuff sounds a little bit strange, but when you relate it to the key of G, is that you have like as I said, if you take the Ionian, the Ionian scale, and see all the chord positions and the scales and everything in relation. It makes a lot of sense. So we also have another folder here, which is, I think for this, I have tachyline choirs. So I think I created a little bit of more. I think this is actually me singing, but I'm not sure. So just a little bit of pad stuff to spice up. And just wanted to mention this, everything you heard in the demo was entirely from this library, except, of course, the drum set. Just in case if you're asking what the drum set was, that was Modern and Massive by GGD drums, or Get Good Drums. The periphery guys behind this. I really love that drum library. It's really awesome, especially for this metalish style. And let me just load a few of these other sounds here. So these are basically more pad focused. So let's check another patch here. Solar winds. Hey Simon, how are you? Okay, so let me just go through the chat for a second, because is there a particular type of electric guitar or guitar that gives the best ambient or celestial sound, or is that mostly achieved in the processing? I'm actually not really sure what you're asking. So I'm not really sure what you're asking, but there are distorted guitars in here and a little bit more clean. So I just did this so you have a little bit of let's say, if you just want to work on a chorus or a verse, that you can just have a little bit of lower dynamics, because usually it's pretty hard to program all this stuff, because it would become too complex when you just apply the mod wheel or any other controller by just lowering the dynamics. So I just recorded two additional guitars, which is where one is a little bit more clean and another one is a little bit more distorted. I'm actually not sure if it's just me or is there some glitching going on. Okay, so I'm just. So you think no? I mean, I think I get what you're trying to say. So if whatever your guitar you can use with this, because this is not like an effects or something for a guitar. If just accidentally, if you ask this, but I'm sorry, I'm just currently standing at the guitar tone. Oh, okay. So you're not talking about this library right now. So you're talking in general of a particular type of electric guitar. And okay, so now I get it. I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to. You were talking about specific sounds of this library. Sorry. Yeah, I get it. Yes. Usually, when you play a Fender, but not a Stratocaster, but a Telecaster, for example, you can get some very, very mellow sounds out of this, especially with the upper. I'm not really sure if there's a number. Let me just check, because I'm really, it's really embarrassing because I'm playing guitar for such a long time and I never got too much in all these technical stuff. So when I check out some Telecasters, they always have a single coil at the top. But when you use this, you can create some really cool, some really ambient guitars. And but I mean, it depends. I would just, maybe we can dedicate another stream to this, so I can demonstrate you a little bit of my guitars standing here, because I have one guitar which is pretty nasty. It's a Schecter, and they have a Nazgul humbucker in it. Seymour Duncan, it's called a Nazgul, and like the Ring Ghost in Lord of the Rings. And this one is so harsh, but it sounds very cool when you want to create crystal clean stuff. So mostly it happens when it really depends. When you want to have like mellow stuff, you can use a Telecaster for this all the time. And and you may probably want to go with a Telecaster, and it's always a matter of the delay, of course, how you EQ this guitar, how you use like cutoff filters or whatever EQs. But there is actually a lot of going on in the humbuckers. So and this supports the processing afterwards. So if you, for example, I mean, when I just tried to play to some really ambient stuff with these Nazgul humbuckers, and you had some basic material to work with, you know, you had like this very specific tone. We may get to a library where I use this guitar. So what I wanted to do is we checked out the protosphere, which was basically photosphere, which were more loops, pads, and then we have ultraviolet emissions here. Let's check these. So I did something like gentle guitar-based risers or downers. So just some effects. These are pretty cool when you just want to, you know, when you're at the end of a track and you just want to really give it a go, and, you know, like doing the Jimi Hendrix stuff of, you know, just taking your guitar and rubbing it against your wall of amps. Some slides here. And you have rising from the surface. You would have guessed it's... Should I tell you the list of my guitars? No, actually, I don't have any Kemper, any other pedals or any other, you know, let's say, or hardware amps. The only thing is I have a little preamp, which is one of these Studio V3 amps by Art. They're just there to just give me a little bit of a, you know, like a preamped signal. But I'm doing everything with, you know, like stuff like Neural DSP, the Nameless Suite, or Archetype Nolly. I also have, and I also have the entire, you know, the bias peak stuff. The bias plugins, the amps and the effects, all these things. Yeah, because, you know, I don't know, you know, you hear records and they have a great sound, and then you realize they just used some kind of a Kemper or some whatever, and it sounds great. And then you hear a recording where they used real amps, and you say, yeah, it sounds different, but it doesn't sound better. And I think, especially, I really can recommend the Nameless, the Neural DSP stuff, because these guys really, I mean, they put so much work into all these impulse responses, and you can really hear that. And I, especially with a Nameless Suite, I never heard something brutal. I never heard that hardcore guitar distorted sounds, and with that brilliant noise gate going on, what you hear with you know, like the typical, what they call gent. So yeah, I can really recommend their stuff. I still have to get the Plini, and I will also probably get the Tosin Abasi plugin by them, because they have something about it which sounds really, really amazing. Okay, so just to finish this little thing here with that, from that library, about sunsets. So we have sunset in G. So these are basically like ending phrases. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Much warmer. I am torn sometimes because, you can do a lot with EQing, and if you record plugins the right way and you do the typical, panning stuff, I sometimes have the feeling that when people use plugins, and I'm not saying you did that or, someone in particular, but sometimes you have people, it's like, yeah, when you hear like real recordings, people make sure that they record like left and right, hard panned signals. But when you do this with a plugin and you apply some tube emulations and you take care of the proper EQing, you can get pretty close. And in a final mix, I just remember when Rammstein was releasing their album Mutter back then. And the first time, I'm not really sure what was the first track I heard of that. And I was like, this is just like an absolutely, this was like the guitar tone with the distorted guitar tone with the most impact. And then I found out they just used like another plugin. I forgot the name. I will probably not the rectifier, and there's some that's like the amp, but there was another plugin. It was like a very specific plugin. It doesn't really look spectacular, and they used this for their sound. And if you do the comparison, and this is the problem when you just do a real recording of a guitar and you do like an A/B comparison with a plugin, you eventually hear difference, of course, but if you take the time to adjust this, it's a little bit like if you have a mastering from a very great and talented engineer, and then you have someone else and that person is listening to the track and say, can you do a recreation of what is going on of that master track by this brilliant engineer? You can get pretty close with like a laptop setup if you don't really know what to do. But if you take care, if you take the time and you just use your ears and you're able to use your ears and to adapt this to all these plugins, you can get pretty close to that mix. But the question is, would you have been able to create this sound this brilliant engineer created without ever hearing something similar like this? And I think the same applies a little bit in a weird way to guitars, to real amps versus plugins. If you take the time to sit there and you match it and try to make it like a real amp, you can get pretty close. Of course, you still hear some difference in A/Bing them, but when you hear the final mix, I'm not really sure if there's like, I couldn't, to be honest, I can't tell if something has been recorded with real guitars, real amps, or plugins. I'm not really sure if, I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't actually also know anyone who can do this. So maybe there are some specialists out there, but I think it's another sound thing. If you spend like 10 years in the studio just recording real guitars, and yes, yeah, I think it was Du hast mich gefragt. It was a great album, actually. It had a lot of impact on me, especially on sound, because I've never heard such a wall of guitars before. It was really amazing. Okay, so we went through this entire library here. So what else could we do? I actually maybe just want to take the time to get through one more library here. So you decide what do you want to get into, and assuming, or by I always have the German words So by making it like unless the library doesn't have a video already available, because I want to use these later on and cut these little snippets to make them available as presentation videos for the product. So just in case, if you have something particularly you want to hear, let me check if Titan got a video, because I would love to go through that. Oh, there's a video, but maybe we can do what can we do? Just take some of the older stuff, maybe osmium clouds. This doesn't have a video. So if you don't have a specific wish, I probably want to load osmium clouds. Yes, so let's do this. Why not? Let's load osmium clouds here. And this was actually a library. Here we are. So we have quadrupled riffs. And what was happening with that library is that usually when you have guitars being recorded, you do like a hard pan stereo signal. So you have two mono signals, one hard pan to the left, or whatever you want to set it up. But most of them, they do like a hard panning left and right. So one mono signal for each of the sides, creating like this big wall of sounds. But it's nothing special. It happened a lot during the past. I recorded a quadruple signal. So I put two signals left and right, hard panned, and I think I recorded another mono or another stereo set of two mono signals, panned left and right, but not really like hard panned, but a little bit more in like the 70, 80-ish area. And this sounds like this. So the licks actually don't sound really, crystalline or really, tight, because it's like four guitars playing. And the mod wheel again. So these are basically all guitar licks. And, as with everything, I mean, if you are, let's say, like a strings player or something, you always would say, of course, the only real melody is either or the only melody which sounds real is a real recorded violin or a loop. It's really hard to get a very convincing, let's say, solo violin melody with multi-samples. I mean, there are a lot of cool libraries out there who can do this, and to me, I mean, the same applies to guitars. There are some very convincing guitar instruments out there, like shredder, for example. These are really amazing. But if you have licks going on, there is so much dirt. There is so much dirt happening in between. So you can't get these rubs with like multi-samples, because you have all this stuff in between. Of course, you could simulate like the switching of notes back and forth, but where do you want to intelligently apply this to all the note changes? Or and especially guitar in this style lives from all the dirt. If you just would be able to filter out the pure notes and the let's say the played information, you would have a lot of something in between. And especially, I mean, if you do license music, these things can be pretty helpful, because especially for, like all these sports things where you just have to do some action music. And so to be honest, I'm always happy when I have material like this available, because you have to slam out some of these stuff like really in like an. I mean, sometimes there's stuff like, can you deliver something in like 2 hours, and you're just sitting there and sort of, you're just happy about everything you can throw in, which you don't have to play in real time. I know it sounds a little bit, like being a little bit like a loop bitch or something, but sometimes there is just no other way. You're just happy for throwing everything in and mixing it at least up with some self-played stuff. So these are more a little bit accompanying material, like backing guitars. Okay, so, and we also have another folder here. It's called Pulsed Rhythms. So I did one program, one patch where I got all these things mapped out. So these are basically just some processed guitars. I created loops from this. And then you have these individual things. You have 25. Let me load this one. Okay, so basically this library, Osmium Clouds, resolves on all these quadruple recorded guitars, to give you some, inspiration on this kind of guitar sound when you need something which doesn't sound too precise, something a little bit more dirty in the style of, let's say, let's put it like Iron Man-ish style. Yeah. So that's it for this library. Maybe we can check out some more. Let's check out one more. Let's check out which I find pretty interesting. Is there a video for Lost Remnants? It's also available for €1 right now. So, let me just load Lost Remnants, because this is kind of a weird library. I really like it. And there is some crazy stuff going on. It's a little bit like not like an accident, but there is a lot of stuff happened accidentally when fooling around with guitar signals again. So it's focused on guitars again. Let me just play you. So this is loops, or this is stuff you would probably hear in, let's say hip hop, for example. It's probably a bad example because and of course you have keys here that you can change the key to whatever. Okay, so we got this Lost Remnants bank here. Then let's load another one here. And also, again, when you move the mod wheel, you have this. So it was just a little idea, and it turned out to be super helpful, this entire library, because these are one-shots. Sorry, just had to check something. So it's also a little bit, everything is kind of a little bit minorish, but okay, so we got forgotten signals here. These are loops, actually. So I like this because this is more of an inspirational library. If you sit down and just... And to be honest, I never heard something like this before. So it sounds like really not unique, but kind of like messed up. But it isn't stuff you typically can create, like, you know, if you just sit down and, you know, as it's typical for you know, a lot of like hip hop or R&B, that you got some samples in the background, and sometimes it's just like staccato strings, as with a typical something like this. But sometimes you have some But if it's guitar licks, it's sometimes a little bit more decent and relaxed, and this is goes a little bit more into the you know, the weird section. Hey there, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm still successfully escaping the coronavirus so far. Okay, so we got another bank here, which is Forgotten Relics. Let's check these out. Yeah, Output has a lot of effects, some really cool stuff. There was one which I really love using, which I'm using a lot, and I really love it. It's called Movement. So these are more little snippets. So we have digital traces here, part 1. So these are little loops. Makes it really interesting because so you can either combine these like or if you use something, you have to use something, if you need something in the background which just is filling material, but you don't want to make it like an obvious instrument. And we also got digital traces too. Yeah, we definitely have to do a new stream. And also, as I said before in previous streams, I'm still currently finishing that big trailer album. I just have to really put a lot of time into that because I just want to make it as awesome as possible. It's probably going to be my biggest release so far, but I can't say more. But once this is done, I will definitely stream way more often. And also, besides, just showing around some libraries and sounds and doing giveaways and everything, just going back to like composing a little bit of music also. So I'm playing a little bit of these snippets while I'm talking. And you can create some funny loops with this too. And stuff like this. Okay, so that's Lost Remnants. And I think I would call it a day. And maybe of course, we have to do another stream and showing the other missing libraries. So I still have to check where is no video available there. So we have a video, I think, for Sick Beats. We have a video for the Indian drums, I think. We have a video for the Sansula. And so I will just make sure to find the products, the sample libraries where I don't have yet a video available, and definitely will record something. I won't say anything about this new album, nothing, because as soon as I just drop one thing in combination and somebody's clever and just watching another stream or something, they could start computing and processing and trying to think of what it will be. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is that I'm almost finished, and I can't say when it will be released. But no, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. So just in case you guys don't have any questions. So as I said before, all of these libraries right now are available for €1. You can also head over to the everything bundle section where you can just buy the full bundle, and it's just like a total of €20. So usually it would be like a worth between 350 to 400, but I didn't feel like putting the original price because that would look like, this is how much you save. So I just wanted to do something good for the community, and the response, I can say, has been awesome so far. And I'm really thinking about something. Let me just switch back to a little bit of the chat view here. So, and I'm also thinking, I'm currently not really sure what it will be, but I will make sure to give back to you guys again, because as I said before, the response of this promotion, of this €1 promotion, was like absolutely amazing. I never expected that this would happen. And but you will know more when I just announce what I will do for you guys in return again. And all I can say for now is that it has to do with supporting um, a number of audio artists like you who are currently suffering a little bit more from this whole coronavirus situation. So just in case if there's somebody out there who can't teach and you know can't follow his day job, or was losing some money by losing a job or whatever. So I'm just thinking of coming up with something like this, but more later. Of course, you can ask any question here. The question is if I will answer. Yes, but of course I do. Yeah, Adam, I totally feel for you. But to be honest, I didn't have any influence, so I just wanted to shout this out to let you guys know that it was really on, that it happens randomly, because I can't sit down, calculate all the people participating. So I hit one button and say, just spit me out like 5 winners. And then I'm checking if these guys are, let's say, basically all the bots are filtered out by then, but sometimes you have like people who get in there and just sign up for all kinds of every competitions, not just music-based competitions. There wouldn't be a problem, but everything, like from like kitchen cleaner to whatever. And sometimes these are automated, clever things, so you just have to check these out. Or some people signed up for my Discord channel. This was really crazy. Some guys signed up for my Discord channel and they logged off or deleted their account afterwards. And I usually don't have a problem when people leaving my Discord community, but it's like kind of a little bit of a bitchy action, when somebody signs off and grabbing those points and just deleting their accounts. And I'm just looking at my log of the Discord server, looking at my log, and there's like somebody signed on, somebody deleted their account. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This was kind of funny. So to make it short, I just I have no influence on who was winning. Of course, I would have let you win, of course. But so yeah, of course you can ask why the music industry is no longer like before. The famous composers like Nick Phoenix, they not work for serious movies. Yeah, in general, the music industry changed a lot. It's very difficult, because back then there weren't that many people doing trailer music. So, of course, the payment rate was way higher. And another thing is that, the entire system was different. Basically, before the internet, before this entire streaming thing started. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Of course, it's a bad thing when you just hold on to that model before. And I know that I will probably get a lot of people saying, how can you say this, how can you say this? And but there was a time we had horse wagons. And there were like carts driving on the street. There weren't cars available. And then we had a phase where people developed cars. So now all of these horse wagon, I don't know the term, the special term for this, but basically these run out of business. You could also say analog photography and digital photography. There were companies saying, like the analog model will always be around. And of course it will always be around. Of course there is something specific going on when you do analog photography. You can't create this with digital. But like the digital, that one company, I think I'm not really sure if it was Kodak saying this, we will stick with analog photography. We will do this forever. This digital thing will be just like will be over in a bit, because you really can't recreate. And now see where we are. We are basically able to stream 1080p video right onto your cell phone while you're just taking a dump on the restroom. I can sit here in my studio with great gear and deliver this stream in high quality right into your house. And the same happens with the music industry in a sense. I know I'm mixing too many things. Maybe also, the time right now, it's also after 12 a.m. But these are all these things coming to my mind. So we have to adapt to this. And to be honest, back then we didn't have internet. So this entire CD music, the CD business, the album release business, this entire music business was completely different. And now everything changes, and throwing this entire model, and throwing it over. And it's important that we keep our rights, that we have, the GEMA in Germany, which is fighting for, some let's say, let's put it like this, like, content providers on the internet, which makes it a little bit more heavy or more difficult to make money. And also, I mean, to be honest, the YouTube monetization model is not really like the best. But there are so many ways and strategies you can use right now. So if you are building a community on the internet on a regular basis, you can build a business and making money and making a living from it by not being worried about everything what's happening on this site before. I mean, you just really have to be. It's a very sensitive topic, and so I hope that answers this question. His computer bonds up. I'm happy you did that typo here. Do you think that there is still a market for the old epic and not hybrid trailer music? Of course. You just have to find a company, or that this is another thing. I wouldn't focus too much on trying to get your music being released with someone, because I can honestly tell you that I have some tracks out there who are used for like 15 or 30 seconds in a kind of an advertising or during whatever, an announcement on TV, and everything I receive is 1 cent. It's like, you make 1 cent for something which has been on air on Netflix or National Geographic or whatever, and you just make 1 or 0, like 0 point, which is 1 cent actually, like 0.01 dollar. So this happens. Of course, there is other things happening, like that there is a track for like 30 seconds or 45 seconds of airplay, giving you something like 30 euros. This can all happen. I mean, in the end, all these things sum up to some bigger part. But of course, if you write a great classical, let's say, epic music album, it could be well received, like, like a hybrid trailer music track. So of course, and then, the thing is, the other thing is, you're currently living in that time. So everybody is annoyed by the brum, by this, of course, by this brum sound. And everybody is annoyed right now. But the problem is the typical brum maybe exists for like 10 years. Maybe this was the time when Inception, I'm not really having the release date, but it was probably around that time when Inception was coming along, that Brahms started to become successful, and everybody's annoyed now, but nobody was annoyed for 30 years of horn clusters of that time before, because this is, whenever you watched a trailer before, it had horn clusters going on at the end, at some kind of a climax before, like a like a drop down or anything. You always had like some horn clusters. It's hard to do them with just one, like one throat, one human, but you get the idea. And so you can make more money if you're willing to go that route. You could make more money by releasing, let's say, music to YouTube channels which have a high play, which have a high, streaming watch hours. You could probably make more money with this than someone who is releasing their music with a publisher. I'm not saying that that you should you should not care about getting to a publisher, getting your music being released by a publisher. But I'm just saying that there are also other opportunities. So while you're looking for a publisher, I would also focus on building your social networks and your social community. Because I mean, just with that thing, if you compose music and you show people how you compose music and you do live streaming, for example, or you do YouTube videos and you do a video every day about how you composed an album. So to make it short, like 2020 is the time where you can sit down and start making money while you are in the process of writing music. I mean, when did this happen before? And this is the great thing to coming back to that problem with the old, let's say the old model. You were finishing a soundtrack, or you worked on an album, and then this album has been released on an LP or on a record or on a CD or back then on a tape. But now you can start making money, and I probably thinking about if I will ever go out there and start writing my own album, I will definitely stream this, because I don't have to be aware of some, publisher. If I would have, for example, stream the process of writing that current album, I could get in trouble later on and receive a lot of claims, because this album will be released. I almost said it. This album will be released by someone, and so I want to avoid that. But if I personally come up with my new album, I would probably sit down and turn on my camera here and sit down and start streaming and writing this album. And you could all, join in. And I will probably not talk that much, which may be a good thing for some. It's like some guys thinking like, now, oh my God, thank you for stop talking. But I mean, you get the idea. So you can start making money. I mean, as I said before, you can check down here, right here. You see that somebody, and of course it was connected by promoting a library, but that somebody, Andrea Pettinghouse from donated $50 during a stream. I mean, imagine you have like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers one day. And there are some people subscribing to your channel, which is a different thing. If you're just curious, just for the sake of testing, there is a donation button down there. So if you click this, you get to another window where you can donate like 5, 10, 15, whatever amount you want. But I'm just saying that the Twitch community is an entirely different community than the release of a record, like 20 years ago. So do you think that composing demos for sample libraries is a good way to grow a portfolio and gain some gigs? To be honest, I'm saying you that my entire career is more or less relying exactly on, where's the chat? Exactly because of this happening, because writing demos, I mean, if I would start over again today, I would grab all the libraries I can get hold of, everything I was able to purchase or win or whatever, or grab during a €1 session, bling, bling. So, but just saying, I would grab all that stuff and start making music, start making videos about that. I would just release the crap out of, I would just release so many videos. I would probably sit down, if I would have enough time to kill, I would maybe put 1/3 or maybe 1/5 into my music education, sitting down and practicing guitar. I would totally use 4/5 or 2/3 or however you want to see it, and put it into building my social and my personal brand. I could get like even I think I mentioned it in the last stream, that I could get my guitar and just playing like a specific chord and talk about this specific chord only, and fill a video with this like 5 minutes and saying, hey, look at the Lydian scale, how awesome it sounds. Look what you can do with a Lydian scale. You can do a 5-minute video about it. You will probably reach someone. And you will probably reach someone who is affected and impacted by your video or inspired and following it. And yes, Adam, the thing is, but this is the good thing. The problem is that everyone is doing it right now. But the other problem is nobody is doing it on a regular basis. If you take 100 composers, there are just 10 composers who release videos on a regular basis. And this is exactly the good thing, because everybody is swimming in that, kind of a sea right now, and everybody's jumping up once in a while, new video, like little fishes. But there's one guy in that pond, new video, watch me, but without sounding annoying. But that person, but that composer is always, that little fish is always jumping out of the water. And now everybody who is walking by or sitting next to that pond can see that one guy jumping around, and he's doing like a little, let's say like a little flip, always differently. And you come back the next day because you want to see what little flip he does different this upcoming day. So you create this attention, and this is actually, no matter how many people are currently out there and making use of the internet, the more people are out there who are not doing it on a regular basis. And this is the important thing. If you just do a live stream on Twitch, because I wanted to do a live stream on Twitch, so you set up your camera, you do some stuff, and then you're not coming back to it like 2 months, nothing will happen. Of course, nothing will happen. But for example, if you spice up your if you come up with some awesome ideas of what to do, and I will, as I said before, when I have more time, I will start, spicing all these topics up. So we have more streams more often, and then we will have some talk about, doing composing. But composing all the time would be kind of boring, because sometimes we will talk about libraries. Then once in a while, I will release something new, which I will talk about. Then we will talk a little bit about the music business, and maybe we will have some gaming, because Twitch is a gaming platform, and I'm a gamer since I'm 9 years old. So I would probably be curious, and it would be funny. This would be really funny, because I had this thought today that I built a Minecraft world a long time ago with lots of instruments and music theory elements. I really can't describe how this all works, but when you push a button, you hear like a major scale. You could push a button and hear Phrygian scale, and I could hop over to a little piano-like wall and demonstrate it. So I would probably get a little bit into Minecraft and explaining some music theory in the form of doing it with a block world in Minecraft or something. So was I always sure everything will work? No, of course not. I had a lot of doubts during the time, and I still have, of course. If you sit there and as with the thought recently about doing this promotion of like helping people out, of releasing all my libraries for €1. I was thinking about, will this hurt me? Will I become unreliable to the people out there? Oh man, what about the people who buying libraries from like 2 or 3 weeks ago? Will they be pissed because they spend more money than people spend right now? And of course, if somebody would have contacted me and saying, hey, this is, I bought this like 5 days ago, I bought a lot of libraries from you, so what is going on right now? I'm pretty sure I would have sorted this out. But these are all these things still running around in my head. But most of the time, also back then when I started all this, I didn't think too much. I was just like too excited to try this out. So as I said before in many videos, many streams before, the first time I thought about sending out a demo track, I sent this out to East West, to Sounds Online. And I just grabbed every sample libraries I had at home, and I was creating that crappy demo, and I sent it out and said, hey, can I do something like this, for your new East West Quantum Leap Symphonic Gold Orchestra? And the guy just, the boss just wrote me back and said, sure, just go ahead. I will send you a not for resale version or NFR version. And I sat down and created demos, and this created a lot of attention. And then people asked, did I do this? I don't claim that it was like a very great demo. And if I would listen to this today, I sometimes are like, face palm. What did I had in mind of doing this? But apparently some people were interested, so I started to find a way of doing like my first walkthrough video, and this was well received. And then one thing led to another. I had some, people from Hollywood contacting me. I had like a trailer company contacting me. Then I did something for another trailer company, and things started up to build like this. And right now I'm actually in the process of trying to make it all work as my personal brand. So to just build everything to have a passive income or to have income without relying on actual gigs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love writing music for video games, for licensed music and all these things. But I want to get to one point where I, for example, write an entire album, and I get up and I just fire up the camera, fire up my Twitch, and sit there for 3, 4, 5 hours and compose my new album with all the things going through my head, because people are used to see a final product. They see like a final CD, final album, and they don't see all, like the desperation sometimes when you sit there and you compose a minute of music and you sit there and saying like, fuck, this sounds like shit. But the cool thing is when you do this live, everybody sees it. And then it creates a little bit more confidence also to the people watching it, because I am basically going through the same thing like everyone else going through. Because usually when you see like people releasing an album, you just see the final product. So to coming back to your questions, I was also, I think I was always able to, to connect dots which made sense. And so the ultimate outcome of this is that I currently do, that I love this streaming. I love doing some sound designs with libraries. I still love promoting other libraries from other developers, or even if it's not about promotion at all, I recently got a very cool library, which is called Gin Bass. This is absolutely amazing because like a metal, a bass metal, like a gentish metal library. I will probably do a stream out. I recently purchased this and it's so awesome. I definitely have to do this. So I just love to do all these things, but right now I'm at a point where I be able to connect these things all. I can do these streams. I can use some of my libraries. I can use libraries from other developers. I can do video streams about this, and I can cut videos. And I'm also, and this is what I want to share with my the videos I'm doing for more the business side of things, that I want to show people, look, if you do it this way, you can get somewhere. And this is also why I try to get into, I don't see myself as a sample library developer, but I just sat down and thought, just release the libraries you want to release. And then I thought about lead generation. How can I get, people being attracted to my store? And then I came up with like little spin the wheel things, like freebies where people could download some free sample libraries and sign up to my newsletter. And then I was developing a new little thing for €9, and I was sending out a newsletter again. And then people said, oh, come on, it's just $9 and it's helpful. And I was aware that I had to, watch out on forums and social networks. But being on social networks all the time, I was aware when, somebody asked, man, I would love that there is like a downers library, and I would love that this is tonal so I can change the pitch, because when you get like a downer library, you have the effect, but most of the time they were not tonal. So I decided do like a €9 tonal downers library. And this was probably my most well-received library I ever created. And so, and then I had these people on my mailing list. I was sending out a newsletter and people bought it. And one thing led to another. So I'm just want to share all this information later on with you. So I'm currently working also on setting up recording course material, where I talk about all this lead generation stuff, approaches of the music business, and so on. So yeah, I'm sorry that was a long blah blah moment. But I mean, the thing is, what I generally want to say, and which is still important to get hired for projects, to get credits on your credit list, to make money, because you have to live off something. But yes, thanks, Adam. So at least I hope so. But I think, yeah, because it's well received, the information, and I'm happy to just. I'm not the first one. I'm not claiming that I'm doing it in a like that I'm sharing a lot of secrets, but I'm just sharing my way of saying, look, this all can work. It can make sense. This is how you can get 250 followers on YouTube per month by doing this or that or this or that. And then, as I said before, I think I'm pretty good at connecting all these dots. So I can say, okay, I'm connecting this to that, but without promising people like 6 or 7 figures, like all these business guys on Facebook do. If you just do this for 30 minutes a day, you will make 7 figures at the end of the month. Just sign up for €9. And then you get like a lot of offers thrown at you, and in the end you end up with like a 1,999 course, euros course, dollars course, whatever. Yes, I know. But most of the time is when people, I know the secret actually. I have read it. I have read it, and I'm strongly believe in this. There is a lot of, I honestly have to say, in The Secret, there is a lot of esoteric bullshit going on. Pardon me. There is quite a few things in there I don't really, but maybe that's me saying, I don't believe this, so then it doesn't work for me. But what I definitely believe in is that if you walk down a street and there are people approaching you and you smile at them, you're just being a kind person. If you're not like a psycho, but if there's somebody approaching you and you just nod and you smile, you would be surprised about the positive feedback you will receive when you do this. And I mean, at the end of the day, nothing may have happened, but you provided positive energy. You put something out into this world, and at one point it will all come back. And that's what I think when greedy people, of course, they're greedy assholes. They just trying to hoard all their money. But at the end of the year, these guys, these people will probably have a lot of, a lot of problems, or trying to build. I'm thinking about something, but no, I'm getting into this. But yeah, there are a lot of known composers or people out there who are not really well received because we know about all the things they did to many people. So let me put it like this. But to be honest, that thing is full of bullshit. But that you're probably talking about The Secret, and but to be honest, what I absolutely believe in, what I'm absolutely convinced of, if you send out positive information into this world, and the same goes with, if you see people, they don't really, they struggle with the money. When people say, I don't want to be in debt anymore, there is so much negativity in these words because you have debt in there. Don't you have in there? But if you say, I am ready for wealth, and you really, really set this up as a mantra, and not in a mantra in the sense of like sitting there meditating, I'm becoming wealthy, but just, I mean, in a sense, yes, you set up this mantra and you make it a priority in your head. I become wealthy. I welcome wealth. You just head on into that world, and you're not convinced that money stinks or money is the root of all evil. This is the biggest bullshit I have heard. If you are a kind person and if somebody who's a kind person will receive $1 million the next day, this person will probably be kind and stay kind and do kind things to humanity. Unless he was like a covered asshole and a greedy bastard, some kind of a hidden greedy bastard before, then of course this person turns into a greedy bastard. But if somebody's like truly from the heart, having good intentions and thinking, and all this bullshit what you hear, like there's the most priority is love and your family. Yes, of course it is. But if you have a lot of money, think about how awesome it is to invite everyone to Italy maybe not right now in this moment. I know this was pretty sarcastic. I'm sorry for this, but invite everyone when this is over. Let's say when this whole Corona thing is over, invite your family to Italy and sit down and have lunch with your entire family on a sunset. This is way more awesome. So if you welcome money, if you welcome wealth, you will continue to do good stuff with this. To do good stuff with it. And the 18 core, yeah. So I'm totally convinced if you change your attitude towards the positive things in life, if you just ignore all the negativity, not ignore in the sense of swiping it under some carpet, but changing your attitude. If you had a bad day, really think about, was this entire day shitty, or was it like the previous 5 minutes and you just said, well, this day sucks. And maybe your coffee cup broke in the morning. Your day doesn't suck because some coffee cup were breaking, falling down in the kitchen. It was just like some piece of, porcelain or, a cup falling, and it crashed, because this is like physics. It happens, But this is why your day doesn't suck. So if you change this attitude to the positive things in life, and you get this attitude that if all you put into, all the information you're spreading, and I believe if I just spread this information, and this will be seen on Twitch right now, I'm affecting some people in a positive way. And when this video goes on YouTube, there will be a lot of subscribers watching that video too. And eventually it may happen that something will happen in the future, maybe like in a year, you never know, when somebody comes along and says, hey, you know what? Thank you for your information. I'm currently working on a movie or whatever, and I just want to hire you as an additional composer. And this happened before, so I'm not making up bullshit, So this is definitely stuff which will happen to you also if you just follow this. That you say, I'm building my YouTube channel on a consistent basis. You become more self-confident by, coming up with stuff which could be interested. And if your first 3 or 4 or 5 videos suck, just let them suck. Just leave them there and see how far you progressed. Like a year later, looking back at your old videos and say, look how much I sucked, but look how much better I am now. So this is all helpful to have this, comparison. It's like a diary almost. If I look back like videos from like 10 years ago, I'm like, what the fuck did you have in mind? You were like just sitting in front of the camera, and I still, of course, struggle with the words sometimes, but there are some videos where like, and then we are trying this and then that. These times are over because you have developed over time. You have developed over these 5 or 10 years of this period of time. And I definitely remember back then I wasn't good at talking, and I still think there are some things I could improve and do better. But I think I improved a little bit in talking to someone, speaking to someone, and especially with that switch of most of the time, switching your ideas, your German ideas, the Bratwurst ideas, to some kind of, understandable English. And the reason that there are still 12 people on this stream is probably they all fell asleep, which I can't say because there is something happening in the chat. So yes, as I said in my last stream, I think self-doubt probably killed more careers, more opportunities than everything else. It's worse than the coronavirus. Seriously, I mean, if this is like a topic, right? This is like a topic right now. But if you think that you suck by recording a video, then you won't record a video. But if you jump over your shadow, I mean, it's just like a probably German saying, or you just hop out of your comfort zone and you just, you know, just make it happen. Just get in front of the camera. Just grab your crappy smartphone and just record a video. This is a great quality. You get like a 1080p video done, which is like high quality considering for YouTube videos. And just get up some decent lighting. You know, this is how I look without good lighting. Or I could probably, turn on some general light in my room, which is probably then looking like some, like probably the living room of my grandparents back then when they watch TV and you enter the rooms like, oh, what is going on here? So just set up some decent lighting, set up some camera, get a ring light for like $30 on Amazon. Just order like some of these ring lights, all, these people are using out there to doing all these close-up videos, and just set this thing in front of your face and just record yourself and do a nice broadcast of your recent track. Or you get like a library the last week and you just do a video about it. You just grab your guitar, piano, violin, or whatever, and just come up and start talking about how do you approach your technique. I mean, I could easily just sit down and grab my guitar and do like a video about legato solo playing in the style of Joe Satriani and how to learn this. I could do like a 5-minute video, but just talking about this, and I wouldn't probably need any longer than maybe like half an hour, including the upload, including the thumbnail, the tagging, the title of the video. So you just have you invest like half an hour or 1 hour per day or per week if you do it just once a week. And just just go for it. And this is something I stopped doing. Do I get this string library, or do I buy this string library, or do I put these strings on my guitar, or will I eventually get another guitar of this? And it's like, fuck, I just do it. You can still sell this guitar if it sucks, but you never know unless you have this guitar around your neck and you just play it. And I'm really thinking about getting like some of the Strandberg, like the 8-string Strandberg guitars, because they are really amazing. They look a little bit unusual. They are necklace and everything. But I mean, I never heard something bad about Strandberg guitars. So I'm really thinking about getting one, but I'm not sitting here and saying, nah, I'm not sure. I will order one, I will get some, and then I will unpack it and then just will play the shit out of this thing. And if I like it, I keep it. And if I don't like it, I can still sell it or send it back to the store. There is nothing you have lost. Of course, with libraries, with sample libraries, it's a little bit different. It can be really dangerous when you buy a library for €1 and then you don't like it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But of course, I mean, if you consider a string library for €399 and there's another one for $499, but you don't have that much budget, but the library for $499 sounds a little bit better. But you endlessly start deciding, and then finally everybody says, yeah, just go for the $499 library. And then you sit there and get this one. And then I'm just making up these prices. I'm not comparing these prices to additional, actually existing string libraries right now. But you say you buy this more expensive library and then you sit at home and then you play with it, and suddenly you say like, I actually don't like it. Why was everybody, praising that library? And then at some point you have the money and get the other one too. And then you sit there and saying, hey, this sounds way better. Why didn't I do this right in the beginning? And your heart was already on that $399 libraries, but you got the $499 libraries because everybody recommended it. And maybe they recommended it because they just had one, they just had this one library. Maybe it's the first one somebody on the internet was the first string library these people were buying, and then of course they were praising it to like, heaven and back, because this was the only string library they had. So I would always go for the heart and just go for things. If you want to get that string library, fuck, get it. If there is some really provoking and kind of a like this saying, if you see like a crackhead being addicted to drugs, they always get it to get their next $20 for their next shot. So think about this for a second. If you really want to get that $499 library, you will make it. You just find some solution. Just maybe you have an instrument at home. Just create some intuitive sample packages and sell them on the web. Set up a Patreon account and deliver information. Set up a piano course and sell it for like $19. Get some kind of, get for like 1 or 2 months, get something of the Adobe suite and sit down with InDesign or, Word and just come up with some, you don't even need Word. You can just sign up for a fucking Google Drive account and just set up a Word document, just buy some really cool eye-catching template for like $3 or $4 and set up a nice checklist, or write like a 10 or 15 pages book about some very valuable information and sell it for like €3 or €4, or even sell it on the Amazon store. And if this is well received, or if you really had something in mind by producing that content, you will get your money. You will get your $499 or the $399 to buy that sample library. So if you really want something, you can get it. I'm convinced that if I want something kind of chill, no, I didn't get the MIDI guitar. So I'm just reading a little to the chat again. So just talk about how I compose a track, for example. Everything. Be creative. The sky is the limit up there. So you can come up with everything you want. As I said before, if you just want to talk about your approach of how you use the diminished scale with a violin, or if you discovered some kind of a mix of like a slap technique, and it doesn't really have to be something intuitive or innovative, because people always connected with your person and how you how you talk about this topic. So it's not just the material or the topic on its own, it's also the person, and it's also how the person does it. And this is like a combination of three. And this is what many people don't, I'm not being offensive here, but what many people don't get. They just think about, why should I start a piano course? Because there are a billion piano courses out there. Boom. Opportunity lost, because you have the self-doubt coming up. So you leave it. You eventually you won't turn out to create the most well-received piano course ever and making that much money that you don't have to take care about making money again for the rest of the year. This could easily happen. And so whatever you can come up with, just come up with it and do it. And you can see on the dislikes or the likes of a video in the comments if this was well received or not. But I know that there is everybody always finds kind of a partner in life. If you're just willing to head out and you say, I love my life, I'm convinced that I'm a good person, and I would just want to enjoy my life, and life would be even more happy when I find the right person on my side. This will happen sooner or later. If you just sit at home saying, no, nobody wants me, I know this is a very deep topic going into a completely different direction, but this happens a lot of time, that people think out there, why should I go to that girl and talk to her, because she will reject me anyway. Boom. That's it, you know. And at the end, that beautiful girl will marry some really ugly guy. I'm just saying this, of course, with a little bit of, you know, satire, a little bit ironic. But and then everybody's surprised. Why did this girl, you know, marry that whatever, you know, like old ugly guy or whatever? And yeah, because nobody of these other guys dared to talk to her. So this is like I got this from like a little joke or a cartoon back then. And so let me just read a little bit. No, I didn't get that MIDI guitar yet. I just definitely have to. I'm still not sure what you get because I was reading about the Godin guitar and the well implemented MIDI stuff. I think it also has like a MIDI. I think somebody from the chat recommended this to me. I'm not really sure if it was one of you guys, but I definitely have to get into this. I'm not really sure if I understand what you're trying to say, Flame Igniter. Want something kind of chill. I was going to get you play Sent by the Dew. Maybe it's like because of the language barrier, but Cloud Jumper, thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I think. Yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you that you appreciate it and that you think that's a super awesome move. Yes, I mean, it's just what can I do? You know, if I would be a billionaire, I would probably sit there and saying, I'm creating this big pot of money. I'm just putting aside like 100,000 euros and trying to support as many composers as possible. But since I can't do it, I just thought, why not going the simple route and just, you know, making my libraries available for €1 each for, you know, the next 24 hours. And this started actually like 10 p.m. yesterday night. And today I decided, you know, what the heck, just do it for another 24 hours because, I mean, what is the best thing that can happen that you can make people happy, you know? And speaking of that, when coming back to the secret, Adam, what you mentioned before, this is exactly basically what I got from this book. Besides all the esoteric bullshit she's talking about, I'm really sorry, I have to say it. It's like some stuff I was reading. I was like, oh my God, seriously? Do you believe that? Well, lots of good luck in your life if you do. But I definitely believe in that circulating of, you know, positive energy, and also about this upward spiral and the downward spiral. I should also get some, you know, some like kind of like elevator music going while we're talking on the stream. Yeah, definitely. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire of happy thoughts and you know, of an endless pool of inspiring things coming up to my brain. That's where I definitely a millionaire at. Yeah. Casual elevator death metal, of course. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this. This would probably no, I just don't want to get into, you know, music listening right now. But if you want to check out a really great band, I think I definitely have to at least mention this band once, and this is Spirit Box. This is like their new video, Blessed Be or Blessed Be. Just check this video. It's just absolutely awesome. I really love that. Yes. So, man, we filled like 2.5 hours right now, and you're still there. I'm really a happy man right now. Yeah. So, but I think I will call it a day for tonight, and let's see when I go online the next time. I will also make sure to upload that video to YouTube, and I hope that this API works soon again, so I can directly put the video to YouTube again. Now that I sorted up all the technical issues, I think there were no. I see some frame drops right now. There were happening some 17 frame drops during these 2.5 hours, but I feel that my internet connection was kind of, a little bit of unstable today. That makes me happy if you guys are happy. No, I mean, I just doing my best. It's a lot of fun, doing this. And as I said before, I'm doing these YouTube videos for like years, and it's just so much more fun when you do it. When you do it in this kind of a live-ish streaming situation. And as I said before, if you want to think about building your career, I mean, there is nothing more awesome than just investing some time in this, rather than thinking, oh my God, I'm not finding a publisher for my new album. Then just, publish that album on your own. Just find people, or find, a YouTube channel, and offer that video to like or that entire album to these YouTube channels. And I know people who make, just to talk about this for a second, who make probably like 2,000 to 4,000 euros per month by just doing this strategy of delivering their music to, epic channels. And of course you have to write good music. This is like something you have to do. You have to make sure that your music is brilliant. But there are so many ways out there to make money on the internet. And the most thing why people fail, as I said before, is because nobody really keeps doing it. Nobody is doing it on a regular basis. And I'm swearing, if I would have like a stream every day, if this day will come that I have time to write my full album, to write my own album, and I'm just sitting down, grabbing my coffee, firing up my camera and my Cubase session here, my template, and just start writing music. And I know that I can get to that point by creating followers, creating interested people in what I have to offer, or what I, want to promote, or just spreading helpful information, or eventually getting a donation or whatever, but just making money basically while in the process of creating your album. Not just when it's finished and selling that album or that track on Bandcamp for like 99 cents, but make like 5 or 10 bucks already while you are, or 20 or 50 or 100. I mean, it really depends to what time you're streaming. It also depends on how interesting you make your stream. And if you have people, if you spread information, if you drop helpful information, this could happen, that you just sit there. And if you have like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people following your stream right now, I mean, there are people making money by playing games. So I am absolutely convinced that you can make money while you're composing and creating music. So yes, that's the final word. And I think I call it a day for tonight. As I said before, you will get the video on YouTube probably tomorrow. And thank you for watching this time. Thank you for hanging out another evening with me. And see you around on my Discord channel. And stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, don't touch your face like me all the time. Actually, I was pretty good by not touching my beard all the time today, but this is what I usually doing, like when I'm composing, So, okay. So thanks. Have a good night and see you next time. Oh, and Pa Juin, thank you for following. And I probably pronounced that wrong. So by saying this, see you next week. Bye.